Three things about this week. It's driven, it's energizing, and it's excessive. Hello and welcome. This is the Astrology of the Week Ahead podcast. I'm your host, your astro bestie, Chani Nicholas, and in this episode, we are talking about the astrology for the week of June 16th. All right out of the gate on Tuesday, we have a brand new situation. Not since September of 2024. So that is September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. We're in June. That is 9 months. We're having something new for the first time in 9 months. So it's like on a smaller scale. It's not like a once in a lifetime thing or once in 12-year thing. But for the first time in 9 months, energy is going into a new part of our life. For the first time in 9 months, we get to move out of a storyline or two that we have been circling around. For the first time in 9 months, we just have a whole new thing. Like we get to leave a situation or two that we've been in, that we've been having to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth about. And we just get to move on. You know what I mean? It's a new chapter. And this is why. For the first time since September, Mars is no longer in either Cancer or Leo. September to June, Mars was either in Cancer or Leo. So on Tuesday, Mars moves in to Virgo. All new. And that is a very driven kind of signature. If you think of Virgo as a sign that is really determined to get something to function well, and is also really concerned with things, yes, working and being of service and being helpful, but also really into, obviously, the details and the craftsmanship. So we could say that Virgo becomes almost fixated on the details of things because of how eloquently it wants the thing itself to function and unfold and be of use to other people. So Mars is a planet of energy and drive, and yes, conflict and hard things, and it is going to pursue something. And so when it's in Virgo, it's going to pursue perfection. It's going to pursue craftsmanship. It is going to be very driven to get something done and to have it be high functioning. So to all my Mars in Virgo people, this is your Mars return. It happens like every couple of years. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but because we're just getting out of this really funky, sticky, tricky Mars time, again, that we were in for a very long time, and Mars in Virgo isn't free of all complications. The South Node is there. We will have eclipses there in September. Virgo is one of those hot spots in the zodiac this year. And, later in the summer or later in July, for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, in July, like late July, July 20th, Mars and the South Node will come together. So that will be a very specific, very important point of like release and letting go and having something to do with a very kind of like big Mars in Virgo experience. But for now, for this week, we've got Mars moving into driven, detailed, hardworking, determined, and specific Virgo. So we're going to be driven to do things in the best way possible. Mars in Virgo loves a homework assignment. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of its kink. Mars in Virgo is like, give it to me. Give me the extra reading. I want the extra credit. Watch me go. Because Mars is about winning. And so in Virgo, Mars is going to win through working the hardest, or at least the smartest, or at least the most detailed. Or at least it's going to win by, again, having something that works really well. Like, look what I constructed. It is the magic of how something comes together and, again, does the function of its thing. So that is the part of this week that kicks us into gear in the part of our chart that contains Virgo. that part of our chart is given some like get up and go. So listen to your reading this week. And if you haven't subscribed to the Chani app, you can for free. You can get 30 days of absolutely free premium content in the Chani app by using the code Saturn30, because we want you to understand just how important this moment is in 2025. Saturn has just moved into Aries. Jupiter has just moved into Cancer. You need to know how to work with both of those things. One is really hard. One is really, 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 really good. And I want you to work with it. I want you to make magic with it, especially next week. So please get into the app, use the code Saturn30. It works for everybody, whether you've been on the app before or not, never have been, haven't been. Saturn30, use the code. Okay. Wednesday is the excessive point. There's something that happens on Wednesday that wants us to go all out. It's like, take the guardrails off, take the training wheels off. I don't care if I spill. I don't care if I flip it. I don't care if I end up totally wrecked. I just want the big, huge experience. There is like an over exaggeration of everything dreamy and good and opulent and abundant, which, is nice. It's not necessarily always going to be very realistic though. So there's this heightened moment, there's this heightened desire, there's this signature that is very excessive midweek. So it's going to encourage us to go overboard, and you are free to. This is your life. You're an adult. Do what you want. I'm just saying, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. If you think, am I being delusional? You probably are. If you're somebody that has a hard time having boundaries, this will make it harder. If you're somebody that's afraid of saying no, this will make it worse. And it's also going to help us to feel expansive. Again, it's not grounded, and we want to always like have a little bit of a check to the balance, but it is Jupiter square Neptune. Neptune is the big dream, and Jupiter is a lover of excess. So it's like an excessive dream. And Jupiter is in Cancer, so it wants to be really, really giving. And when it comes up against Neptune in a way like this, it can tend to overgive or over-exaggerate something about the nurturing aspect in a relationship or in a situation. So, I think it can be good for some things. Like, it can be really good for people that are super closed down and don't know how to be open and expressive and expansive or giving. And also, it's really good for people that want to take advantage of others and delude them and deceive them, because people will be a little bit more open in this moment. And then I think the other thing it's really good for is creativity. I think Neptune, even in its hardest moments, is still really helpful for our ability to imagine other possibilities. And Jupiter in Cancer is here to say, you got to care. You got to nurture, you got to nourish, you got to take care of yourself and others. If you want anything to flourish, if you want abundance in any way, shape, or form, the key is caring for others. The key is being of service. The key is feeding other people on whatever level you need that to be. The key is feeding yourself in every single way that you can possibly think of. It's about nourishment and sustenance in a lot of ways. And it's about the abundance of love that can come through a scenario where everybody feels nourished and taken care of. Okay, so square Neptune, it can be a moment where that is excessive, but we also kind of need that in the world. Neptune is in Aries, so I do feel like that is a signature of the delusion of the rugged individual and the delusion and the deception of there being any kind of one hero that's going to save us. We are so trained to give our power away and to think that the answer is outside of ourselves. And Neptune in Aries, because Aries is like that heroic kind of individual, which is beautiful if we all think of ourselves as the hero, heroine to the journey, and not that there's someone external that's going to know the answer or fight for us or, save us, God forbid. So I think that Neptune being the planet of delusions and deceptions, being in Aries, at least in the beginning, is this heightened experience of that kind of like deluded, deceptive, rugged individual like story and myth. And so these two things are really at odds. It's like Neptune being the, dictator kind of energy, the like smoke and mirrors of the dictator, because the dictators are just these tiny, teeny little people that have puffed themselves up to this big, grandiose, myth. And none of it is true. And all you need to do is like pop the surface of it and it all comes tumbling down. And so Neptune in Aries squared Jupiter in Cancer, and Jupiter being the one who's again trying to bring about some kind of care, some kind of nourishment. How many times can I say nourishment in an episode? A lot. The day after is the solstice, and that means that it's Cancer season. So that's really the vibe of the moment anyways. But on the heels of this very excessive, possibly like moment of delusion type of energy, and maybe like, the dictators are really trying to push their agenda of they're going to save us from whoever. And that it comes up against a point of friction, because that's what a square is with the Jupiter and Cancer. And it's like, no, actually, we just need to remember that we are all literally related and we are all just literally one human family. I don't mean to be too like woo-woo about it or too, we all have differences and we all have all that. But the fact of the matter is there's just one human race. Like anything else is a total delusion. We aren't actually separate from each other. We just construct all this stuff to make us think that we're separate from each other. So there's this like conflict here. And again, that can be used to delude people, to deceive people, or it can be used to promote a memory of that actual connection. And then there is something very energizing that happens. There's a change. We're in a new season. There's a new vibe going on. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, hello, summer. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, hello, winter. And it's Cancer season. So the themes of caring and nourishment and coming together and like cue We Are Family blasting in the background is very alive and well. Especially because Jupiter is here. This is the first time in 12 years that we are having a Cancer season like this one. And by that, I mean a really, really good one, a very opulent one. One that has us remembering just how full our cups actually are. And listen, if you have a major Cancer placement, and by that I mean ascendant, sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, any angle in your chart, this is your time. Like Jupiter being in Cancer for the next 12 months is going to help you to expand. It is going to help you to feel wealthy and abundant and full and very, 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 very generous, which is going to help to create luck for you. That's the deal with luck and generosity. The more generous you are, the more you create your own luck, the more you believe in abundance, the more you experience it, the more you receive it, the more you see it in your world, the more you're witnessing it all around you. And then on Sunday, there's like this mixed bag of something that is very excessive and like, yes, go. It's like a very big cheerleader type of energy. So I love that for getting together. I love that for taking initiative. I love that for gathering with people that feel like family. I love that for seeking out abundance as it is already present in our life. I think there's something really fun about Sunday. And at the same time, there is something that's saying, oh, wait, hold on. Let me put the brakes on this. Let me double, triple count what I've got to work with. Let me remember that Monday is also tomorrow. And I've got a lot of things going on next week. So there is this like go, 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 rah, rah, rah energy on Sunday. And then there's also a hold on, reality check. Sorry to be a bummer, but I need you to remember that you have a million things scheduled for tomorrow. So maybe you don't want to go so excessive as other things would point to. So the astrology that I'm talking about is that on Sunday, Mars, the rah, the Mars in Virgo, which is also rah, work, and exact and detailed and crafty, is making a sextile, excited aspect relationship to Jupiter, the planet of expansion and of luck. And so there's this like drive, there's this like excessive drive to work on something or to go towards something that feels good or to create something that is really connective with other people because it's Jupiter in Cancer. And then also on Sunday, the sun, newly in Cancer, makes a square to Saturn. And Saturn's like, no, you can't do that. Why do you think that you don't have to do all the other things that you already said you'd do? You've got responsibilities. So there's a go, yes, have a fun time, or yes, do this thing, or yes, go all out in this specific kind of like detail-oriented way. And then there's a, hold on, I have a body. I have to live within time and space limits of reality. I need to say no to a couple of things. And so both can be true. You can have like an excessively good time within limits. And I think that's what Sunday will bring. So have at it. Okay, so next week's astrology is so good. Like there's two things that are so special in next week's astrology. First, we're having a Jupiter cazimi, which means that Jupiter and the sun are coming together, which they do every year. But it's super duper special because Jupiter is what we call exalted. The planet of luck and abundance is really high functioning in Cancer. And so when it comes together with the sun, it's a very special moment. It's a once in 12-year signature of luck and planting a seed for something that will come to fruition and flourish in all kinds of abundant and nourishing and nurturing ways. And the next day, the 25th of June, is a new moon in Cancer, which is always good because the moon loves to be in Cancer, but Jupiter is right there. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Yes, it's square Saturn, but it's still so good. Okay, so I want you to come back and I want you to work with this really special astrology. And this week is the very last week that you can use the code Saturn30. So you use the code Saturn30 in the redeem code section of the app. And not only do you get free weekly readings with me for a month, there is a reading for the year. There's a massive library of guided meditations, of sleep stories, and of affirmations. There's weekly journal prompts. There's weekly rituals in the app. And there's my brand new Saturn Return course. So if you're in your Saturn Return, you definitely want to redeem the code Saturn30 just to take that course. I promise you, you'll get so much out of it. Okay, so let's talk about the question for the week. So I wanted to answer this question from the audience, which is such a good question. Like, honestly, like I'm like, oh, that's such a good question, but also that's a good question. What do you do with this? And this is, what do I do if I have benefics, so Jupiter or Venus, in hard houses? Okay, so we've got planets, houses, signs, and then aspects between planets and points. Now, your ascendant, stay with me here. Your ascendant is your point of entry into life. Your ascendant marks the beginning of your life. Your ascendant is saying, this person is alive. At this moment, this person became a human being on their own outside of the body of the person that conceived them and birthed them. So your ascendant is your marker of life. So what we call quote unquote bad houses are houses that don't have a traditional relationship with the ascendant. What that means is the 6th house, the 8th house, the 12th house, and the 2nd house. The 2nd house is the least quote unquote bad of the quote unquote bad houses. The 6th house deals with a lot of things. One of them is the work that we can't get out of, and also health issues. So you can see why it's like not connected to the life force that the ascendant is signifying. The 8th house is the house of many things. One among them is death, and is mental anguish, and is the fears that the mind gets caught up in because we know that nothing is permanent, but we have this deep desire for security and permanence. It's one of those fun things about being human. So the 8th house is incongruent with life because it's a place that deals with death. The 12th house is sitting right beside the 1st house, right? It goes 12th house, 1st house, 2nd house, 3rd house, because there's only 12 houses. The 12th house, the 1st house can't see. It's like someone that's right outside your peripheral vision, right outside your ability to feel them or understand them or know that they're there, but you kind of know they're there, but you can't ever turn around to see them. Same with the 2nd house. The 2nd house and the 12th house kind of like enclose the 1st house. So the 12th house deals with constraints and being confined and being hidden or our hidden life, but also it's about sorrow and loss. The 2nd house is about money. Now, we could do, episodes and episodes and episodes about money and it being good, not good, how we attach ourselves to money or how we've built systems of dominance and supremacy because of the illusion of money, because money isn't a real thing, it's just something we agree upon, is a whole thing. But the ancients saw money as a corrupting kind of force. So again, it's the least bad, quote unquote, of quote unquote bad houses, but it's still considered there because it can't see the ascendant. The ascendant can't see it. It doesn't have a traditional aspect to it. Modern aspects, different story, but we're talking about traditional astrology. So if you have a good planet, i.e. Jupiter or Venus, Jupiter is the planet of abundance. Venus is the planet of pleasure and love and connection and erotic energy and sweetness and beauty and good things. If you have Venus or Jupiter in one of these houses, what does it mean? Well, it depends on the sign that it's in. It depends on what planets it's talking to. It depends on a lot of things. But in general, if you have a good planet in a hard house and it's in a good sign and it's in good condition otherwise, like it's configured to other good planets or it's not being harmed by another planet, it's going to help you to do good things in that place. So how could that be? Well, if it's in the 6th house, if you have Jupiter in the 6th house, and again, it's in good condition, it might mean that you're really wise, because Jupiter is about wisdom. You're really wise in regards to issues of the body, or you're really wise in terms of understanding the operations of a workplace. You might be really lucky when it comes to finding work. You might be really good at knowing what ails the body. Like you might be an incredible physician or healer. So you might know how to tend to things that hurt in the body, or you might know how to fight for workers' rights because the 6th house would connect to that. Or you might know how to rally and help people to create a union at their workplace. Same thing, but you know what I mean? Like thinking about what's tough in terms of work and in terms of health, but how could a good planet help me to do something good in this area of life? If Venus is there, maybe you're really good at bringing beauty into workspaces. Maybe you're really good at connecting with people that have a tough time, either in regards to their health or in regards to their workspaces. Or maybe you're just really lucky at connecting to the people you need to connect to in order to make the work you need to happen. If you have Venus in the 6th house, you might be really, really dedicated to issues of justice, because it's Venus. Venus is justice also. And the workplace or workforces or something in regards to, again, workers' rights. If we're talking about the 8th house and you have Venus or Jupiter in the 8th house, listen, this is also the place of inheritances. It doesn't mean that you'll always get a big inheritance if you have Venus or Jupiter in the 8th house, but I've seen it. Or you might get a lot of support financially or materially from somebody that you're in a partnership with, because it's also about collaborations. I've seen a lot of people benefit greatly from their spouses. Like they didn't have to really worry about finances. It doesn't mean that their relationship was good, but I've often seen people they ended up okay financially speaking. And I'm not saying that this is only about financially speaking stuff, but that often does signify someone who's really good at connecting with other people that have a resource, fame, talent, money, creative energy, something that they can connect with and make more out of it. In terms of like spouses, I've seen people like be able to create a family and create a home, and then their partner goes out and works. And it's like more of a maybe heterosexual traditional kind of setup where they benefit greatly from being able to do the things that pair well with their partner's ability to go out and make money. Or they're excellent managers. People with really positive 8th house placements are often so good at connecting with other people and being like, you are really good at this. This is your talent. I'm going to help you figure out how to make the most of your talent. So managers, producers usually have a really good 8th house ruler or 8th house signature, or often do. And I've seen even like accountants or anybody that's like, oh, I'm going to deal with this other person's resource or talent or time, or like managers have really good 8th house significations, or significations that are good in 8th house can make for a really great manager. And also you might get support easily, right? It's a good planet in the 8th house. The 8th house also has to do with other people's money. So you might have an ability to connect to the resources that you need and that you want to facilitate something that you want to create. So if you have something good in the 8th house, ask people for what you need. Also, I know a lot of people that are like in funding, run foundations, work at foundations that have really strong 8th house placements. They give of their resources. And it doesn't have to just be Jupiter or Venus. You can have like a really strong Mars placement or Saturn or what have you to be kind of, in a position to be like, okay, how are we going to move these resources from here to here? If you have really good 12th house placements, you can just have a really good time on your own. You could have a really good time being in solitude. You could benefit greatly from being able to go away and do your thing. I've also seen people with really special 12th house signatures, like Jupiter and Cancer in the 12th house, do work in regards to people that have been caught up in the systems of incarceration or other kind of institutional settings, and bringing in a tremendous amount of education or light or energy or love or abundance to places that are really shut down and honestly excessively harmful to the human soul and the human spirit, like most institutions in our world are, especially if they're connected to incarceration. The 12th house is connected to systems and institutions that put people away. So you might be very talented at going into places where people are having a hard time and being helpful. And I'd say that for the 8th house and the 12th house. And then if you have great placements in the 2nd house, I don't know, you probably know how to like deal with the material realm in some way, shape, or form. Or you're really lucky in terms of like getting jobs when you need them, or getting, having money just kind of like fall in your lap when you need it. I'm not saying it's all, gravy. Like we still are human and we're still in this world and things are still difficult. But if you have really good 2nd house placements, I would assume you'd be good at facilitating money, livelihood, income. Maybe you're really good at mutual aid. Like you can work it however you want, but it's a good indicator of having a good relationship with the material world. All right. I love these questions. Keep writing in. Keep letting me know what you want me to answer. Check your Chani app for any good placements that you might have in the 2nd, the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th house, and let me know if this resonates for you. All right, y'all. Sending you so much love. Come back next week. Let us work with this gorgeous moment of astrology. Bye for now.